What's up, guys? Blake here from Grimdark Gaming with Big Jono, who got second place in our 1K event on the weekend. After many rounds, many a top 8s, many a long matches, he managed to scoop second place with quite an interesting deck. So we thought we'd give you the list, give you the matchup breakdown and how he ran it. But yeah, we'll see the list first. Go straight into it. Go main deck, and then any notes you have on cards along the way we can do, and then at the end we'll get matchups and stuff like that.
Easy. All right. Well, first of all, big shout out to Grimdark Gaming. That was an amazing event. It's really good to see DBS events, like trying something out of the box, some cash prizes. It was pretty nice. I did play Blue Baby. This deck's been picking up a lot of steam again lately. It's always low-key been a sleeper here. A lot of people stopped playing it when they errated the field card. But even with that, it still just slaps. It's for anyone who's ever played Magic and has ever played against a blue control deck, it's pretty much a Dragon Ball version of that. Just charge, go, I'm going to stop exactly what you're doing and stall the game out and drop some bombs. So we'll get into it. The leader, pretty simple on the front side. Big thing, he plays Planet Tuffle when you start the game. This is what lets you counter so much. It is errated, but basically how it works is as long as you have no battle cards on the field, all of your blue counter skills cost 1 less energy. So, for example, this staple, usually a 3 cost, is now a 2 cost, as long as there are no battle cards on the board. You also have a secondary effect, which I did do once or twice, where you can take a life and then put a card from your hand down the bottom. This is great if you're on 5 life and you really want to awaken on your turn, or if even against some of the grindier games, I had exactly 2 or 3 cards in deck, and I knew I wasn't going to die, so just putting that extra card at the bottom of my deck to buy another turn was a good play in that situation. Awakens at 4 life. Front side, draw on attacks, just as the front. The big thing, activate main once per turn. Look at top 3 for any blue counter skill. Some pretty insane cards you can find with this. For example, Baby Hatch, God Sealing Trunks. There's no other deck that tutors for those cards. So counter ape, it's very great. And there are, if anyone's ever played Flesh and Blood, this other effect where you put cards at the bottom, it's kind of like pitch stacking, because you're playing such a long game that you're going to see the second cycle of your deck in a lot of instances. There was one clutch situation against another Blue Baby Mirror, which was absolute cancer, where I was very lucky to win that game because I placed my Android 17 at the exact spot I knew it needed to be after her trying to mill me, drew it the next turn, then boom.
Then just jammed it.
Yeah. A bit of luck, bit of skill in that situation. Let's get into the deck and why it's so strong. So first up, the negates. Gohan Baby's Minion. This card is the reason why you play this deck. It's low-key the MVP. Every other deck that plays it pays 3, we pay 2. 2 energy, play the Gohan. It does have Servant, so before it hits the field it is a 15. There are some counterplays, for example the red Vegeta, so be cautious of that. But a lot of the time, especially the early game, he's just sticking. And for the rest of the turn, if they want to attack, they have to bottom deck a card. It's just a big tax. It's really not smart to play through this, and even when people are daring up to as well, you're literally Blue Baby and have 10 other negates.
Yeah, they're not getting through.
Yep. One last thing I forgot about the leader, he has Overlord. What Overlord means is once per turn, you can send a Servant, which is this Gohan, to the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So the reason why this card is the absolute all-star in this deck gets really good card advantage is because you play this for 2, end their turn, swing once with him for 25k, big chunky swing, put him at the bottom of your deck, he replaces himself.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, it's the way you're filtering and flying through your deck, you actually get to play, some of the games I've played this 5 or 6 times in a game. Because I'm putting it at the bottom, filtering. I'm going to see it again by turn 6, turn 7.
Takes the card off the board, puts everything back online.
Yeah, he's the MVP, 100%. Another broken card that's baby only. Revenge Big Bang Attack. This is basically D-Magic on steroids. Once again, no battle cards, it costs 1. Negate the attack, untap 2, and draw 1. replaces itself and untaps. It's just absolute key card, filter, negate, untap, everything good. It's just you got to buy this if you want to play this deck. Absolute old style. Now, this next one, a lot of people run this at 4. I chose to run it at 2, Ready to Rumble. It's a great card. It costs us 3. Negate the attack, play Vegeta. For the rest of the turn, to keep attacking, they need to put an energy in their drop area. Absolutely devastating effects, although I do find his most effective directly on turn 3. He is a blocker also, so he will do that, and then they usually just stop attacking because he's just going to block. The way this deck works now, what usually happens is you play it, they stop attacking, and on your turn you want to combo him off so your field is back online.
Yeah.
The reason I only run 2 is because after maybe turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, which you will get to in this deck, sometimes people are just willing to just burn off their energy. If it's going to win them the game, they do it. So for that reason, I only run 2. He is great though. One cheeky card. 2 copies Goku and Vegeta, Saiyan Synergy. This card is great. It negates an attack. It plays this card, and then the next time they attack your leader, you get a Senzu Bean for the turn, a permanent +5. So you're essentially eating 2 attacks or getting a Senzu Bean. This card is great on like a turn 3 or a turn 4 when they do have counters online to counter your counters, and then you've got one last bastion of defense to just keep locking them out.
Play it for 0 as well?
No, so you do have to play
you have to at least play the colour.
Yeah, if you are brewing a spicy build of this, always remember you do have to pay the specified. There are some really cool 2, 3, 4 cost negates, but they're all specified, so they do not get discounted.
Yeah.
So, but still cost 1. It's really great for 1. Another all-star, low-key one of the best in the deck, Oceanus. This is not a blue card, so unfortunately you cannot search this off of your leader, but you will see it. These games go so long, and the best decks in the format, such as U7, Trunks Vegeta, they're either milling themselves already, or they're just drawing so many cards and getting so much card advantage that they get to, after the 6th or 7th turn, they're down to less than 10 cards a deck already. So after about turn 5 or 6 card, if this card hits, it's basically a baby hatch. They just cannot push through, and it blocks another attack as well. So if you are playing this deck, you definitely want to play this card. It's an absolute all-star. Classic Blue, D Magic. Run the full set. I like the full set. Sometimes you want to tap out to drop a bomb, and if you aren't killing them, or they do counterplay one of your counters and you're tapped out, you have the option to take a life, untap 2, and now your negates cycle will just start all again, and they are not getting through. It's a really good card. We run 2 Miraculous Gokus. This card is just a great card in every blue deck. It does combo really, really nicely with another card coming later, Android 17. Later on in the game, you are eventually going to get battle cards on the board, and you do have to win the game at some point. If you're not milling them, you're killing them. So Planet Tuffle will be turned off at times, and he's just a great card to get on those turn 6. Play him turn 6, Android 17 turn 7, win the game. The Unison. No surprises here. It's 4 Boo Unisons. The Boo Unison is absolutely snapped. It's just such a good Unison, the best Unison in the game. In addition to all your other negates, he is a very defensive card. He blocks, he bottom decks, he has double strike to clear Unisons or win the game, get people to 3-1. He's just a great card. He also draws your card every turn. He keeps your hand nice and big. There's really not much to say. He's just the best Unison. Paired with that, 3 God Sealing Trunks. Very easy decision. You can search it off your leader. Comes in great against anything that doesn't have deflect, and in the rare situations where it comes up, it costs 4 instead of 5, which is nice. Super combo, a full set of Zeno. Zeno is just really good because he untaps for you. Spoiler alert, we do have some cards that ramp later. So it can come in really clutch to get back a card you need on turn 7, turn 8, turn 9 that you've charged in your energy very early on the game when you didn't. Worst case scenario, you can just play him to draw another card as well, and if they don't have much removal. I think he's the best super combo for the deck. But you can mix around ratios on that. We're going full set of Draw Monkeys. The Draw Monkey is actually really good in this deck. 2 reasons. If you are on the early turn 1 or turn 2 of the game, you can essentially save another one of your life by comboing this to a 10k attack. And then if you're versing a deck that doesn't put too much pressure on turn 2, you can just spend your turn 2 to draw 2 cards. And just build up for those later turns, which is really nice. You kind of want to go down to 4 life in most games. You're okay with 4 life anyway, so that's fine. Also comes in great on turns 5, 6, where you're not going to close out the game, but maybe you just want to spend 2 energy, draw 2 cards, and then leave up 3 or 4 for more negates on their turn. I like it. 3 or 4 is fine. 2 of the new spice. SS4 Vegeta, Rise of the Super Warrior. This card's pretty cool. What it does, you play it for 6. Be careful against blue because it does not have deflect. It is a blocker. It lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and any blue cards you can either ramp or add to your hand. Both great options. If you see a Baby Hatch, you put it in your hand. If you see your A17 or whatever you need to close the game, you just put it in your hand, you ramp the rest. So instead of going to turn 7 energy on turn 7, you might be at 9 or 10. It can let you make some really, really intricate plays that just overwhelming. Just steal the game. It also restands at the end of the turn and blocks 1 more attack. In this deck, blockers are amazing because any floodgate you have just locks them out because they can't push through the floodgate and the blockers. And in combination with the unison, even some turns, just that alone will get you through without using one of your negates. We have 2 Golden Monkeys, counter. This card is just fantastic. It's just really versatile when you want to use it. You can search it off your leader. Pay 5, counter any counter. If it's a counter play, a counter attack, whatever it may be. Even you can counter their counter if you're playing another slow blue deck. Then you play the ape, you draw 1, you bottom deck one of their cards ignoring barrier, and he's a 30k triple strike. Just amazing card. When it's time to close the game, usually the play is you can combo this with a Kale. If you make it to 12 energy even, you combo this with a A17 if they try to Jiren or whatnot. It's just a great card. You want it in your deck. 2 Kales. You are going to get to turn 7 in this deck a lot. And Kale is just an absolute all-star for clearing their board. At that point, they're probably... If you're not attacking them and you're just focusing their board, they might be whittling down on resources. And it can be devastating turn 7 to just play Kale, wipe their board, and just pass. You just really run them out of resources and then go in for the kill when you've got a 100% locked in kind of thing. You definitely want to be running a couple of these if you're going the non-full mill route. In the main board, 1 Android 17. This card is fantastic. It is your closer a lot of the time. You will play a Kale, perhaps turn 7, and then turn 8. Play this and they just have almost nothing on board. They got nothing left. You go in with him for crit for 4-3, and then any of your triple strikers 3-0. That's the easiest way to win the game. You definitely want to win that. Now a couple of spicy one-offs, just because the way we did do a best of 3 tournament. So I needed to have certain one-offs in my deck for game 1 because this deck, honestly, a lot of my games were so grindy, so long that there was only time for 1 game in a control mirror kind of thing. So I needed the one-offs in the main deck. So we got 1 Dirty Burst, really good card, green cell, red U7, many others. Anything 7 or less cannot attack for the turn you draw 1, and at worst case scenario you just pay 1, it's in a game. Cool. Great card. The overall I chose to go with Scientist Fu. He's a 25 double, and he draws 2 cards. Just good value, really. No, never really using him to win the game or anything. Just drawing 2 cards means probably drawing 2 negates, buying another turn. Very good value. A cheeky one of Chilled's Army. For the decks that can counter you, counter, get you down to 2 life, and if you really need, if you're out of resources, just one last negate and block. It was alright. I'd probably leave it in. In the main board, one Kami. Kami is really, really good. The best deck he works against is probably Trunks Cheetah and Bomber, which we saw a lot of. If they have more than 4 cards on the board, you can pay 1, draw a card, he has deflect. And as long as they don't nick him off the board or anything like that, you pay 2 and you just board wipe anything 4 or less. It's really good. You can clear Trunks Cheetah's whole board for 3 energy and then pass back and floodgate them. They're not killing you. One of Ultra Instinct Goku, another red tech. This hits the Vegeta Secret Rare, is why he's there mostly. There's not much that hits it. This is Blue's answer. With the new Secret Rare ruling that is in effect now, essentially they'll tap out for the Vegeta Secret Rare. You pay 3. He'll cost you 3 as long as you don't have a card on the board. Play Goku, choose any card ignoring barrier, and bounce it to the hand. And with the new SCR ruling, remove any Secret Rare from the game.
Yeah.
And draw 1 card, and then you can just combo them off later.
So yes, to specify, it counts as leaving the board, so it gets removed from the game. Not
with the new ruling.
Yes, of course.
Yes, with the new ruling, this will just absolutely nuke someone's Vegeta Secret Rare, and that card is the strongest card in the game at the moment. So he's really good. That's why I'm running 1 in the main. One of Baby Saintslayer. This is a card that came out with the original deck. It's pretty cool. I didn't play it much in the day, to be honest. It is awesome when it goes off. Basically, he's a 3-cost negate, or a counter randomly if you want to play him on your turn. And then, with all the cycling and filtering you've done with your leader, if you have a card at the bottom of your deck equal to or less your energy, you can play it out for free. So the old school combo was to play this in a Golden Ape. The other thing you can do, which is pretty cheeky, is put a Gohan at the bottom, play it, swing, and then draw another card. So he's quite versatile in that way, but he's hard to get off, but we'll see. One of Mafuba. Mafuba's a very cheeky card. This is great on cards that are just absolute menaces, getting value every turn, or a big boss monster, Secret Rare. You can use this on a Vegeta Secret Rare too if you don't have the other Goku. Any battle card, you basically just blank them for 2 turns. So any card with a lingering big effect is really good. And it costs 1 instead of 2. So it's beautiful. Good. It's good value. One of Vegeta, the Interceptor. Really good card to clear their board if they're just spamming out stuff early. Red U7 has really good early game cards, for example. He's quite versatile. He's pretty good. There's not enough space to put more than 1, so I think 1's fine. And of course, Baby Hatch.
Yeah, look. Skip.
If you don't have enough negates, Baby Hatch. He's really good on a turn where you're completely tapping out, playing a KO, for example, or a desperate situation, or if they use their counter to bait. I'll give you a tip against yellow: bait out their counters on your Oceanuses, Gohans, etc. And then you just play this and watch them cry.
Yeah, beautiful.
He's very good. We'll get in the sideboard now. Sideboard pretty simple. One more Kami obviously comes in against all the good decks it hits. Bomber, Trunks Vegeta, etc. Anything with lots of weenies. Gohan Piccolo is pretty good. Basically, you pay 1 blue, you discard him, and he bottoms to 3 or less. It's really good against Red U7, other decks like that. I didn't play him too much in the day, but he's pretty good. Beerus Realm of the Gods. Really good card. If you use it on their turn, you draw 1, bottom of 2 or less. So there's not much of it these days, but in those black decks with the 1-drops, anything with dangerous 1 or 2 drops, he's quite good. Final Hit Slash. I take this in for AOD. Basically, you can remove any small thing with barrier. There would be other targets, but I was using it in case I ran into AOD, which is pretty good deck. Just bounce their Bobby.
Yep.
They lose their value. Same idea, SS Go tanks. You're only playing this against barrier heavy decks. Decks that run all the 1-drop hate cards, for example. It's pretty good. Just barrier removal basically, and you can draw cards and use the blocker as well. It's alright. One more Goku against red. Any red deck, just whack in the extra. One more 17. Any slow deck, another blue deck, yellow, etc. Just whack him in. You want to see him. That's your finisher. Another great card against slow decks, Tragedy Overground. This card is absolute all-star. You are just straight up paying 9 for this. You're going to get there. If you're playing another slow deck, you're going to get there. This won me game 2 against the Blue Baby Mirror. They just couldn't play anything that they needed to kill me or mill me. Yep. They couldn't play anything. It's a very dirty card because some decks it just locks out. Yep. One more Dirty Burst, again, red, green cell, etc. Anything that's relying heavily on big 8 drops, 7 or 8 drops. Yep. If you run into green, 2 to Burris, very simple. Green Cooler is probably the main menace at the moment. One more cheeky tech card for Green Cooler, Clash of the Masked Warrior. This card says, when your opponent's attacking, they can either remove a marker or you don't take any damage from attacks with strike. Double strike, triple strike. Any green deck's main finisher now is the Golden Freezer Unison. And if anyone was unaware, the rule is when a Unison loses a marker, any effects it's gained for the turn reset. So when they come in for triple strike, you force them to either lose a marker or not take damage. So either way, you're not getting hit by triple strike.
Yeah, it's just not happening.
Yeah, so you wait, let them dump their whole hand, and then gotcha.
Fair.
This is a tech card I really like against Sin Shenron. It basically just for absolutely free clears their big dragons without barrier. Or any deck that's playing a lot of just random big guys on the board, but I just love it against Sin Shenron. We do have a lot of Sin Shenron players here. Yeah. And then, of course, in the mirror, Jiren. Your biggest kryptonite in this deck is if someone Android 17's you, because you are relying on your hand for negates. So if you are playing that game, you need this guy. It was very lucky. He came in clutch against one of the final matches against Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. He played really well. Me and him had the best matches of the day, I reckon, in terms of my tournament. Some really close matches, and Jiren came in really clutch to just save me.
Yep.
And win the game I needed to win.
It's worth noting too that side deck is also based on what you know you're going to play here, which we have a very good locals, but there is a lot of, as you said, Shinron, and then a huge amount of U7 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, happy with how the deck ran with everything.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a sick deck. It's really strong. The errata doesn't change too much.
Yep.
How you want to play the deck? You just want to stall the game out and then drop a bomb. One thing I would change. I didn't own the cards, but there are cards you can include that mill out the opponent. There's a Janemba package and a King Cold. Unfortunately, I didn't own them. I'll have to pick them up. But I really wish I had some of them in the side to side in against the mirror or any other slow deck or another mill deck or something. Because sometimes it's hard to kill them. It's really hard to kill them. And honestly, sometimes it's better to mill them out than kill them.
You need to win at some point.
You need to win at some point.
Very fair.
Exactly.
But
at some point, you got to win the game.
other than that, appreciate it very much. Obviously, we'll see you in the next couple big events and all of that. But any final notes on the deck? Anything you just piss off, change, whatever?
Oh, no, honestly, I was very happy with it.
Hell yeah.
I was a very great day. Like I said, the only thing I changed would be a mill Cyborg. And just shout out to Grimdark, and hopefully we have more great tournaments. Shout out to everyone that came.
Beautiful. Thanks, man.